Talk. Talk fast.
You first.
My name is Sarah Connor. August 29, 1997. It was supposed to be Judgment Day. But I changed the future. Saved 3 billion lives. Enough of a resume for you?
No. You may have changed the future, but you didn't change our fate. I know you're scared, but I'm here to protect you.
Never seen one like you before. Almost human.
I am human, just enhanced. Why do you care what happens to her?
Because I was her.
I can see you're very upset. I'm going to help you protect the girl.
Nobody else is gonna die because of me! If you don't make it, everybody dies!
Expect a big pain, brother. The whole body's a weapon. Sorry.
When this is all over, I am going to kill you.
I understand.
I'll be back.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. This is year 7. That's right, year 7. This is year 7 of Movie Month. For 30 days, I'll watch 30 movies and do 30 podcasts. This is day 21. Look at me, I'm driving again. Seems like I'm always podcasting while I'm driving now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to day 21 of Movie Month. Can you believe it? We are 2/3 of the way through, and we're on our last 10 movies, including today. I can't believe it. I always like, how am I going to get 30 movies? And then I look at my list, and as of yesterday, my list has 30 movies still on it. Some of these movies got pushed off because of coronavirus, and some of them just weren't released in theaters. And others are just like, well, things get in the way, other movies get popped up, and next thing you know, they get pushed off to the following year. But I did kind of take that list and whittle it down to 9 movies that I think I'm going to watch. One of them is the movie I watched today. 1984. That's a significant year for multiple reasons. Number one, I was 8 years old in 1984. Number two, it's a very famous book by, I'm going to say George Orwell, and I think I'm correct. I'm sure I'm correct. Number three, it is a pretty significant Van Halen album, as it was like their biggest album as becoming big pop superstars, pop rock, whatever you want to call them. And it was also the last time we'd see David Lee Roth with the band for many, many years. It was the end of an era. It was also a fantastic year for movies. Movies like Gremlins, Ghostbusters, for me, Splash. It was also the year a young James Cameron directed a action sci-fi movie starring a young Austrian actor who we hear for the first time say, "I'll be back." Yes, I'm talking about the 1984 Terminator film. I definitely didn't see it in 1984. I'm sure I didn't see it for a couple of years after, where Arnold Schwarzenegger is the evil Terminator sent back to kill Sarah Connor because she is going to have a son who becomes the future leader of the resistance that is set to fight these robots in the future. Yes, it is very convoluted when you think about it. Then in 1991, while I was in high school, he was back. Arnold Schwarzenegger is back, this time as a different version of the robot. This time, this version of the robot is a good guy, and he's there to help save young John Connor, who is the future leader of the resistance, along with his mother, Sarah Connor, both times Sarah Connor is played by Linda Hamilton. Then we have Terminator 3, Terminator 2 is like a quintessential classic. It is probably the best of all of them. It was a humongous movie in both digital effects, special effects, just big action movie. It changed a lot of things. Then, 2003, I believe, we had Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, where this time Arnold is back again as a good version of the robot to help save a slightly older John Connor, who this time Sarah Connor is out of the picture. Maybe she was dead. I don't remember. I saw it once. It's a different actor playing John Connor this time. And we have... what's her name from Homeland? She's there with him, and he can only save them so much. And the movie ends with, the movie part one ends with they kill the robot, but the future is still going to be bad, and John Connor's there to lead the resistance. Part two is they actually save John Connor and change the future so the robots don't come. But wait, they still do come in part three, and actually the part three ends with the beginning of the end with like nuclear war, right? Something like that. Then we completely go to the future and get rid of Arnold Schwarzenegger altogether and have Terminator Genesis, I want to say this one is, or Terminator something else. Maybe Terminator Genesis is the next one. I don't remember. This one starred Christian Bale, and it's not Terminator Genesis. I don't even know what the hell it's called, and I don't even care. I never even saw that movie. This was like, now we're in the future. Christian Bale, that's the famous one where someone walked in front of Christian Bale and he had a tantrum on set. Christian Bale plays John Connor in the future during the Resistance, and yep, who cares? Then we had, around that same time, we had the Sarah Connor Chronicles, a TV show starring Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, and Brian Austin Green was in it, and he was actually pretty good. And it was like a kind of a continuation of after Terminator 2. So it's like, I guess, between Terminator 2 and Terminator 3, or Terminator 3 never happened. Then we have Terminator Genesis. I think that's the next one. Doesn't matter. Where we're in the future. Sarah Connor is back, but this time it's a different actor. It's Emily Clark? I don't know. The Khaleesi. Also from Game of Thrones. This time she is... I don't even know what the hell's going on. She's saving someone, and maybe she saves the Terminator. And we have a young Arnold and we have an old Arnold because the Terminator... from the original, or from part 3 or something, aged. I don't know, it doesn't matter. And that one was pretty good, but it was weird because then we had John Connor in it, but then we find out that John Connor becomes part of a robot. I don't know, it was time travel, so they jumped into the future and the past. It was actually, I kind of enjoyed it, the way they had young Arnold and old Arnold, how they kind of explained it. I thought it was kind of clever. But Terminator 3, Terminator the Christian Bale Chronicles, Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and Terminator Genesis or Homeland, what the frig it's called, none of those matter. None of them. Because all of them are erased from existence with the 2019 Terminator Dark Fate, the movie that I watched today. When I tell you this movie rewrites it all, Terminator 1 still happens, Terminator 2 still happens, and none of it matters. Because Terminator 3, 4, and 5, or 3 and 4 didn't matter. This is 5, and I have a feeling there won't be a 6th. Why do I say that? Well, we'll talk about that at the end. So, this movie picks up kind of right after Terminator 2, really, like a couple years later. So Sarah Connor is talking about the future that was supposed to happen that didn't happen because her and her son saved things, right? And then they're on an island, they're on a beach, and they do a pretty spectacular job of doing a young Linda Hamilton. I was like, wow, that, like, is this shot from then? Like, it's crazy. First, it opens up with some voiceover of her talking about the machines are coming, the machines are coming. I don't know if that was also digital or if that was taken from Terminator 2. But she looks right after Terminator 2. This is supposed to be 1998, I think. And they saved the world. And then they stopped Skynet. And then they're on a beach. And John Connor, and it's friggin', what's his name? The guy who played John Connor, the kid. I don't care what his name is. I can't think of it right now. Andrew something? No, it's not that. But this kid was like thrust into stardom and couldn't handle it and really didn't do much. William something? Yeah, I don't know what his name is. I'm sure it'll pop in my head later. So they're on a beach, and all of a sudden a young-looking Arnold Schwarzenegger version of the Terminator comes up and kills John Connor right then and there. Boom, boom, boom. So here's the thing. She was able to change the future, but she wasn't able to save her son. And we find out why that happened later. This is another Arnold Schwarzenegger version. So they sent back multiple versions. Some were good, some were bad. Yeah, I don't know. So here we are in the future, and we're in Mexico, and there's a young Mexican woman and her brother, and they're going to work one day, and all of a sudden, a female shows up that looks like she's all naked, so we think she could be human, she could be Terminator, we don't know. She's beating up guys like she's a Terminator, and then this other dude shows up, he's naked, he touches a woman's clothing, a woman holding clothing, and takes the clothing, so he's definitely kind of like the Terminator, the T-1000, I want to say, or whatever, the T from Terminator 2, kind of like that, that he's liquid metal, but he's different, he like morphs with black metal, not silver metal. And so the Mexican brother and sister go to work. The blonde lady shows up and it's like all of a sudden trying to save them because then the Terminator shows up. Blah, blah, blah. Fighting, action. The brother dies. It turns out her father's dead. So she's on the run with this young Terminator who's played by, oh God, do I forget her name already? Mackenzie Davis, I want to say. Now, I know her, and I fell in love with this girl from *Halt and Catch Fire*. She was one of the major stars of that show, which is, again, a great show. I say again, I've never mentioned it before. Someone at work suggested it to me, and I watched the whole thing over Christmas break, and I thought it was pretty spectacular. So that's what I know her as. So they're fighting this Terminator, racing from her, and while they're racing from her, out of nowhere, they're about to get blowed up, and out of nowhere, Sarah Connor shows up. Linda Hamilton, original Sarah Connor, shows up and blows up the Terminator, but it's still coming. They're like, come on, we got to get out of here. They're like, how did you know we're here? Like, no time for that. And they're on the run, blah, 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 blah. They're on the run. We come to find out that this girl was sent back to save this woman from the future, and Linda Hamilton's like, oh, it's just like me. This woman's probably the mother of the future leader of the resistance. She's like, what resistance? The human resistance. They're like, how do you know all this? She goes, I stopped Skynet. They're like, what's Skynet? So, from what we understand, the Terminators from Terminator 1 and 2, and, the other movies that don't matter, that was stopped. That future was stopped. But other AI was worked on, and just so happens that they made other Terminators that came over and took over. So, I don't want to change lanes. So other Terminators came. They look kind of like these Terminators, except they have black exoskeletons. Just kind of what a coincidence. They have other Terminators that can also send people back. That worked out well. Now, so they have. So she's like, listen, where are you gonna be getting these? How do you know that we're out here? Well, I'm getting text messages from from this random message. I don't know who it is. Every couple of years, they give me coordinates. I go there. A Terminator falls from the sky, and I kill it. So it seems like they keep sending them. They keep sending them. I was able to kill the one that tried to kill me, but then they kept sending them, and they didn't know. Even though Skynet was gone, this one showed up and killed them. So she's like, well, I have a... She goes, give me your phone. And she uses future stuff, she says, to figure out that the text messages are coming from Loudon, Texas. Loudon, Texas? I don't know if that's right. And she goes, well, wait, that can't be. And she has coordinates tattooed on her that say go to Loudon, Texas. So I don't know why. Oh, I guess because this girl lived through it, so she knows. Yeah, that makes sense. It all comes full circle. So they have to go through a coyote, her uncle, to go into Loudon, Texas. This is where action starts happening. It's like big action set pieces. So they're on a train. Nothing much happens there. They get detained by border security. The Terminator shows up there, and they have to fight him off. Big action set, running, jumping, helicopters, yada, yada, yada. They get away, and they get to Texas to find this where these text messages are coming from. And there's a truck outside that says Carl's Upholstered Drapery. And they open the door, and out walks the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, an older version of him. Linda Hamilton freaks out and tries to kill it and says, that's the thing who killed my son. And he's like, yes, I am. So this is the version of the Terminator, not from Terminator 1 or Terminator 2, but from the kind of the flashback of this movie. This is the one that actually got to kill John Connor. So he was never turned. But guess what? He learned. He's artificial intelligence, and he learned things. And he grew a conscience over the years. He's like, after I killed him, I did not know. I had nothing left. I did not know that Skynet was no longer. I had a mission, and I continued the mission, not even knowing there was no reason for the mission. So that's why he killed John Connor, and he's been regretting it all these years. So he's been trying to have a purpose to be better, and he's been sending those text messages to Sarah Connor to give her a purpose. Right? You with me? And he's found a woman who had an abusive relationship, and he stayed with them. He protected them, protected their son. He's like, I am not a physical relationship. I am with her because can protect her, and I am nice to her, and I have a good sense of humor. And he actually was pretty funny. At one point, he was talking about drapery. It was like, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this movie immensely. So fighting. The bad guy comes, and they go protect him. And then the woman sent from the future says, listen, there was no son. There is no son to protect. I'm here to protect you. You are the person in the future who found me. You are the person who saved me, who took me in. You are the leader of the resistance. So they save her. Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, the robot comes, the bad robot, the good robot, they fight each other, and Arnold Schwarzenegger sacrifices himself and takes this other guy out. They go. Then she goes to this playground. So the woman from the future that has robot parts in her, she's dead. Both Terminators are dead. They're safe. Hey, buddy, stay in your own lane, huh? You want to stay in your lane? Very good. So we're in the present still, and they go to this playground, and she sees the young version of this girl, Grace, who's the robot girl. Somehow she tracks her down and knows exactly what she looks like, finds this girl, Grace, just makes sure she's okay, because this girl, Grace, grows up to save her, grows up to come back and save her. So I guess, I don't know, she just wanted to make sure she's safe. So she's like, earlier in the movie, Sarah Connor's like, I drive. This time, she and this girl, Danny from Mexico, I guess are going to go off and save the world, or continue saving the world. Because who knows what else is going to come. So they're like, come on, where you going? She goes, I got to get ready. She's like, you have a lot of work to do to get ready, or whatever. And that's how the movie ends, where this girl is off to prepare for the future because she knows it's coming. Couple things about this. They say the future where the robots come is 2049 or 2042. So it was 22 years since, I don't know, something was 22 years later. It was 1998, they say, is when they killed John Connor. 22 years later is when this all happened. Then in 2042, so it's 23 years, I guess, all the crap hits the fan. So in 23 years, we have an advanced enough AI that's going to take over. That's where it starts, and it's called Legion. It's not Skynet this time. There's something else called Legion. It was government, building machines, and they took over. Blah blah blah. Same story. You take out one, history it's still going to happen. So I just thought it was interesting that, this girl in the current time. So that's like, when they went back and looked at the girl, or when they looked at the girl at the end, she was the same age. Pretty much as the girl we see in the flashbacks. So they have to get ready because this evil future is happening like right away, right now. So I guess that's when it's going to happen. The original Terminator, they said the future was 2029, so that's 9 years from now. So I guess it could still happen. Here's where I run into weird things with time travel. Okay, they send back this girl to save this girl Danny so she could live, right? Okay. Shit, I went the wrong way. Gosh darn it. All right. So, okay, where was I? They send... Am I going to do a circle again? I am. I'm going to do a full circle. So they send the robots back, right? And then once the robots go back and kill John Connor, there is no resistance. Or they stop at the future, there is no Skynet. So if there is no Skynet in the future, how is there a future to send back the robots in the first place? You understand what I'm saying? But this is where I think the idea of string theory comes in, where they say, well, there are multiple futures. So to you, that future happened. Or that future happened. This future happened. And that's why when you come back... like when the thing came back, even though what was stopped in the future never happened, it still happened to him. Which they talk about that in Back to the Future, right? Different past, different future. But then that kind of screws up. Why would Marty disappear? If his parents didn't get together, in his future they did get together. I don't know. I'm blowing my mind up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I always like how I like time travel stuff, and I don't ask too many questions. This movie was enjoyable. I had fun doing this, and I was like, wow, this is obviously way better than Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, that's what it's called, Terminator Rise of the Machines. All those movies, Terminator Genesis, all those movies were like, meh. And it's like, even though I kind of like Terminator Genesis, this was easily better than all of them. It was back to the roots. It brought back the originals. It just was better. And I don't want to go here. Crap. Am I going the wrong way? Son of a bee. I think I'm going the wrong way. No, I'm good. So... It was, I like that we got to see original Linda Hamilton. It was a continuation. It wasn't new actors playing these things. It was a continuation, and then they bring in some new people and younger people, which is the way a lot of movies do things nowadays, where they kind of, a new sequel, and you bring in the originals with some new people to lead the way going forward. That being said, I do not think we will have a going forward, because this movie pretty much bombed at the box office, which is a shame. It has a pretty good Rotten Tomato score, 70%, but that doesn't mean anything. People, these 70% of reviewers are watching these movies. They're going to watch it no matter what. But people maybe they just don't care about Terminator anymore. It was never the franchise that something like Star Wars is, Star Trek even. It was never it was a good 2 movies. Then they made a trilogy. Then they tried to make a franchise out of it. Not everything has to be a franchise. And to me, this wasn't... I'm definitely going the wrong way. I'm going further away from where I need to go. Son of a bee! Okay, so this version, what I mean is Terminator's just not... It's not the franchise people think it's going to, or want it to be. I mean, yeah, even the TV show was pretty good. I think there's comic books. I'm sure there's a bunch of things. I do like the story. I like the mythology. I like the history behind things. But it just never became... Like, all the movies were fairly profitable, right? They all made money, except this one. And the thing is, it's just too many years. I don't think even the last one didn't do great. But this one, you brought back Arnold, you brought back Linda Hamilton, and they just don't care. Arnold hasn't been a big movie star in a long time. He's made some good movies in between then. And he was the Governor for a while. Linda Hamilton, I have not seen her since, I feel like, Titanic. I'm sure she has been in things. Wasn't she in Chuck? Was she the mom in Chuck? Am I crazy? But it's like, it just didn't connect enough with audience. I don't know, maybe if they brought in a star to be the young Terminator and a star to be the young savior, the young future resistance holder. These are, unknowns. I mean, I recognize Mackenzie Davis from certain things, but for the most part, like, nobody knows who these two women are. And I mean, unfortunately, Andrew Furlong, that's his name. Woo! Unfortunately, that is kind of needed for movies nowadays. People are, conditioned to see series, and they want to see series with people they recognize and stars. And when you have plus the movie was $180 million budget, so it's like you got to make bank to make money back. If this movie made $180 million and it was a $70 million film or a $60 million film, okay, but they pumped big time money into this, and it just didn't deliver. It was too much, I think, to deliver. Now, James Cameron directed the first two. He might have produced the third one. I don't know. He was back to be the producer of this one. That means nothing. Producer just means you give ideas, you give pointers, and you find people to help give money. That's what I think of as a producer. You kind of oversee people, you oversee everything, but the hands-on directing of the movie went to Tim Miller. Who's Tim Miller? Right. Now, Tim Miller, I believe, has directed 2 movies. That doesn't mean anything. The directing was fine, but you're not like I think if they said James Cameron's directing this, that might put butts in seats. When you see Arnold's back and Linda Hamilton's back directed by Tim Miller, you go, oh, cool, the Terminator's back. There's another Terminator. But you don't say, oh my God, James Cameron's back too, even though he's producing it. Oh, that doesn't mean the same thing. It's like, oh, Tim Burton produced this. Oh, it kind of has that quirkiness of Tim Burton, but it's not a Tim Burton movie. Tim Miller directed the original Deadpool, okay, which was a huge hit. But it didn't, I think he didn't come back for the second one because I don't think Ryan Reynolds got along with him. I don't know if Ryan Reynolds had a different vision. I don't know what it was. But, yeah, he just didn't, he's not a director that gets you to go to see a movie. And apparently Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator franchise alone is not enough to get you to go see a movie like this. Which is a shame because I enjoyed it and I wouldn't mind seeing other ones. Yeah, I think that's it. You good, girl? I'm walking my pup and I'm not walking my pup. I'm driving my pup to the park to walk her. I got my Walking Dad shirt on. My wife got me a Walking Dad shirt, which is like, it's like The Walking Dead, but it says Walking Dad. It's pretty cool. And because today's Father's Day. And I am not a dad, except to this beagle right here. So I'm a beagle dad. I'm a dog dad. But happy Father's Day to all used peoples out there. I can't believe I just said that. Also, Linda Hamilton said, I'll be back. And Arnold Schwarzenegger told the woman that he was taking care of, he's like, I told them that my past would catch up with me and that I will not be back. Oh, I will not be back. Now, here's the thing. They could just why don't they just keep sending more Terminators back? Send 10 Terminators back. Send a Terminator back to when she was 5 years old and kill her then. Send a Terminator back to kill her parents. Like, just because they selected that one time, why aren't there thousands of Terminators coming back? Maybe they should drop a line where they say, sending it back takes too much energy and you can only do it so many times. Like something to fill a plot hole where it's like, why aren't they sending 5 Terminators back? Why don't they send one back a day until the job is done? Oh, that person's still alive. Let's send another one back. Oh, that person's still alive. Oh, we killed them. Now, you kill someone in the past, if you kill someone in the past, it doesn't change the future? I'm not sure exactly. That's interesting. My friends, I don't know. I'm sure there's plot holes, and I don't care. I'm done here. I enjoyed Terminator Dark Fate. Also, the name was bad. Terminator Dark Fate is a crappy name. But not like Genesis with a Y or Salvation. Salvation's not a bad name. But, Terminator, A New Hope or something like that. Or just Terminator 5, I don't know. Terminator Sarah's Revenge, I don't know, whatever. But Terminator Dark Fate isn't great. Isn't a great name. But it was still a fun movie, even though it did terribly at the box office. And I rented this one today. I use a website called Just Watch, where it shows you, hey, this is available here, it's available there. Oh, it's on HBO, cool, I'll watch it. This was available for rental in a bunch of different places for $5.99. And then on Fandango Now, yes, Fandango, where you can get movie tickets, they have streaming rentals. And it was 99 cents there in HD. So I rented it there, watched it there. And I was cool. It saved me a few bucks. I wanted to rent this one and watch it. Glad I did. Just too bad that not many other people watched it in the theater. I don't know. Maybe it'll have a life after that on streaming or something. I don't know. But that's it, my friends. I'm done here. So I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for subscribing. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Geek Mentality. The website is fansnotexperts.com. The Facebook page is Fans Not Experts. And, that is it. That's it. 21 days, 21 down, 21 days in the book. Oh, the podcast is Geek Mentality, available everywhere podcast is available. And also in this military recruiting office I just drove by. I think it's available there. Until tomorrow, my friends, 21 days down, 9 days to go. Let's go. I'm on vacation this week. No work, just play. Awesome, great. Okay, I'm driving here. Oh, green light. Here I go. Until tomorrow, my friends. Happy movie month. And we keep going. Oh boy, last full week of movie month right now. Coming up, here is my theme song. This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time. And I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.